And it says we're live, so let's see what happens. Hey, Troll, I saw that comment. Today I learned, by the way, that you cannot tag people in the StreamYard uh, chat. So, yeah, that sucked. And yes, I know I'm a couple of minutes early. I do that. Um, the YouTube says that there was one waiting. So, hey, Troll, how you doing? Do not be surprised if a couple of people show up. It's happening. Yeah, it's happening. Do not be surprised if a couple people show up. Fingers crossed. If you got an invitation to the one side, believe me, there's a real reason. Getting coffee. Troll, you're getting coffee? Good. I got coffee and I got tea, so I'm good for the 2 hours. I won't have to run away for that. Anybody get any kind of updates on Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania right now? The last I heard is that Georgia's going to hand recount, Pennsylvania's going to at least partial hand recount, and Wisconsin and Michigan are turning into fist fights. I sleep with brass knuckles on. That's not a secret. I don't carry them in town. They don't leave my house. All right. Michigan and Washington, or Wisconsin, rather, are turning into brass knuckle fights. So, yeah, that's going to be amazing. We're just going to love the next 6 months, no matter what happens. In other news, let's see. You're watching this, you probably have some idea of where I stand on a lot of issues. If I was you, I'd order one of those. I think it's 5 pack of AR-15 80% and a 5 pack of Glock 22 lowers, 80 lowers if you can find them. You're not going to be able to get them much longer. Apparently, El Duce of California has decided he's going to sue the DOJ to force them to stop allowing those to be sold on the internet. Yeah, that's not going to do any good there. No mandate, but go ahead and knock yourself out there, boomer. Troll says, this is going to be gravy, baby. I hope so. Uh, I can't even, I can't. I cannot understand how his brain can possibly malfunction that way. It's not that he doesn't know, he knows. All right. But he's pretending that he doesn't, knowing that there are people out there that know he's lying. Like, Troll, you're in the chat. How do I feel about lying? I got Troll says I got my prep done in April. Good, good. I have one big prep to finish. Actually, I have one big prep to start. My dad, he's got all of his done. Like even the water well that he can't legally put in is in. Don't ask me how he did it. I just know that it's there now. So anyway, here's Gavin said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get the 80% banned," and he knows full well that there are people that can make those at home. Right? How do you lie to your constituents that way? And then how do you spend your constituents' money? Remember, this tax money doesn't belong to him. Doesn't belong to the state of California. It doesn't belong to any one person. It belongs to everybody, but he's going to spend their money fighting a battle that he knows is already lost because he doesn't like something. Well, you know what? I don't like a lot of things. And some of them are illegal in California, others aren't. All right. I wouldn't waste taxpayer money fighting these battles, knowing that it's not going to do any good. All right. Troll says, I cannot tolerate gaslighting, and lies are the first step in gaslighting. That's a pretty good point. Flag on the play in case there's somebody in the watching who's not commenting, and I don't blame you. Gaslighting is a very specific thing. It's telling somebody something is true or not true when it is, in fact, not true or true, respectively. Um, so, and it actually comes from a particular source, a movie, I think, in which a husband's trying to get his wife committed. So he turns this lamp on and he plays with the adjustment, the brightness adjustment somehow. The wife complains, "Hey, the lamp is too bright." He says, "No, no, no, it's not that bright." And he keeps telling her this until she starts to believe it herself. His intention is to get her committed. Pretty good example of gaslighting is what's going on with the elections. We all know that there's tampering, but telling us, no, there's no tampering, or effectively no tampering, when we can see the tampering. It's not a secret. That's gaslighting. Okay, troll. So Zombie Joe is talking lockdown and mask mandate. I believe you. It's hellish. A movie. Yep. Okay. So it is a movie. You know what, troll? You're right. Joe has been talking about lockdowns and for a very long time to come. I'm kind of with the masks. I'm kind of ambivalent. I could go along to get along if we were being told the truth. We're not being told the truth, and I don't care. Once you start lying to me about something as simple as 2 weeks, 2 months, somewhere in that range, and stretch it out to 6 months, I know you're lying, and everything you say after that becomes suspicious in and of itself. Catching up. DM Foss, hey, DM, you made it. Uh, apparently DM and Troll know each other, so that's cool. Uh, Troll says, I won't do it. I'm not playing ball. You know what? I will do it when I'm at work because I have to make an income or I won't be here much longer. That's it. Everywhere else, no. And by the way, right there, you saw a symptom. I actually do have some breathing problems. When the military tells you that a building or a ship is asbestos free, they are lying. All right. That's not my opinion. I'm repeating there. That's the opinion of when I knew him, he was a first class petty officer in the Guard. He's probably a chief or a senior chief by now. We're going through this building, and he says, when the military tells you the building is asbestos free, they're probably lying. He also went on to say some other things about remediating the asbestos that was done after they discovered the problem. But still, they're lying. Okay. So yeah, I got some asbestos or something. I can actually feel it's right about here. Too high for my heart and too far outward for my heart. So it's not a heart problem. It's a lung problem. Troll, I'll go to my swamp island and burn the bridge. Okay. Boss, they pressure businesses to enforce the unconstitutional mask mandates. I'm not sure if it's really unconstitutional. I can tell you there's nothing in there that says, yes, you can absolutely do this. I also know there's nothing in there that says, no, you absolutely cannot do this. So I don't know if it's actually unconstitutional, but the way they're doing it is just absolutely ridiculous. Matter of fact, um, no mandate is been called on the hot seat for this now. Excuse me. Viva Fry and Barnes did, I think it was a live stream, and Viva cut it down to an upload on only this issue and how Gavin got spanked. And he deserved it. He absolutely deserved it. Gavin is either a evil genius of the absolute first order, or he's a raging moron. I can't tell which. Ah, Troll, I feel you, bro. You do what you got to do. I gotta make an income. I'm not beholden to anyone but my wife. I'm not playing or paying for it. Okay. Boss, I've seen pictures of shipyard workers snowball fighting with asbestos in the 50s. Yeah, unfortunately, that's part of the problem. Back in the 50s, maybe even to the 60s, nobody understood that this stuff was dangerous. Or, well, us commoners, very least, didn't understand this stuff is dangerous. Now we do. Don't play with the asbestos. Just don't play with it. It's usually fine. If you're one of those unfortunate people that you've got the overhead asbestos paint, which was supposedly going to protect you in a fire, well, actually, kind of does. Um, if it's still stable, don't fuck with it. Leave it as it is. And then it's some sort of paint that they use now. They can put that over the asbestos to stabilize it and to contain it. Troll says, my governor says a mask mandate is a joke. He's talking to Foss. No, no, no. Bad, not good. I assume that means the snowball fights and miners did. I'm not sure what you meant by miners did, but okay. I do know he meant gold, asbestos, lead, miners, that sort of thing. Okay, boss, if you don't disturb it, it's okay. Encapsulate it. Yeah. Troll says, till earthquake strikes or a demo job or a truck hits the building. Okay, well, if a truck hits the building, you got a lot bigger problems than that anyway. Uh, that's the truth. An earthquake strikes, you've got a lot bigger problems than the asbestos anyway. Demo, at least you can plan ahead. When I was still living in Sacramento, there was a building at 5th and Capitol. It was locally called the Taj Mahal. It was a red marble cased, whatever the hell they call that process, building. And there was asbestos. I think it was every third floor or every other deck. Um, Finally, somebody got fed up. They said, we got to get this out of here. This is not working anymore. And they broke it down inside itself, removed everything. And if I understood correctly, they actually ventilated the building through 4 times until the gas tests were saying could not read the amount of asbestos still in the building. And then they draped it and imploded it from there, not using demolitions. They never actually used explosives in that process. Basically drowned it because the water attaches to that asbestos so easily. Carted everything, including the marble, out to some dump somewhere, and supposedly it's buried for the next 100 years. That's what they said about the building I was in too. Just saying. Foss, asbestos is weird. It looks like a rock, but it breaks up into fibers. It does. Um, El Dorado County actually had a big problem with that. This was not construction. This was naturally occurring asbestos, but it was exposed to the winds at this point because of erosion. They had a big problem. Troll, sure, but asbestos is nefarious. Gets on and into everything. I probably still have some in my old uniforms. That's from like 10 years ago. Boss, once it enters the bloodstream, it can cause cancer anywhere your blood goes. I did not know that. And Troll says, I did waste work. We took more precautions with asbestos than some chemical waste. Yeah, it does. It floats in the atmosphere. It gets into everything. It sticks. Because it's a fiber, so I can dig into whatever it's sticking to. And then it breaks off and it gets back into the atmosphere like 5 years later or something. Yeah, shit. Because I know she's listening in. Hi, Fix. Enjoy the rally. Don't start shit, babe. Please. All right. So yeah, I I can't wear the mask. The big problem is breathing in. I've I have actually finally found a filter that I can breathe in. I still can't breathe out. Uh, every time I try to wear a mask and glasses, which I have to wear at work, my glasses fog up. I'm working on that. I got something I'm going to show them and see if they'll let me switch out for those. Fingers crossed, and go from there. I got a child support payment to make. I've got rent to make. Got utilities to make, and in case any of you haven't noticed, the subscribe star is going nowhere. Troll says, I'm a naturally cautious person. I take precautions and plan ahead beyond the safety laws. I don't live in California where it causes cancer. Have you been watching Lock Picking Lawyer? I asked because he kind of hit that subject a week ago. Yeah, so wearing that, if I like I said, I finally found one I can breathe in. Now I still can't breathe out because it'll fog up my glasses. I got a different pair of glasses. I'm going to see if they'll let me switch out. Um, I got to take something back. I said I have my prep work done. No, not entirely. I still need to get body armor. And there's one more gun I really do want to get, but I don't have to get. I that little Glock 27. I really want to get one of those, and I need to get body armor. And I know I need to get the body armor first. Troll says, I assume California causes cancer. Nope, it's a common construction joke. Ouch. It's true, but ouch. And I'm saying this as somebody who grew up in California, right? Um, the California of today, little Carrie would not recognize at all. Even when I was in high school, you could open carry a handgun in plain view without a permit. And I did it a couple times. I walked by the Capitol building with my gun. All right. Yeah, I did it on a Saturday and I wasn't threatening anybody. And I still got stopped by a highway patrolman. She wanted to know who I was and what I was doing. And I told her I'm on my way to my friend's house. She did write down my information. And that's it. I walked away. No big deal. All right. Today, not only could you not do that, but you would probably be shot on sight. Lil Carrie, yeah, believe it or not, once upon a time, I was a child. I'm having trouble believing it myself, but I got a couple of baby pictures. That's it for the coffee. Of course, I know this is going to sound weird. I don't really care about legalizing pot or not legalizing pot. Just don't blow it on me because I'm allergic, right? California and most other states by now have legalized it, but the feds haven't. I don't care. Just be honest about it. That's one of the things I'm really mad about. California legalized marijuana for medicinal purposes. Well, those medicinal purposes included back pain, right? And I met somebody who cheated that game, and it was supposed to be with a prescription. He didn't get it from that prescription from a doctor, right? I think a paramedic is more of a doctor than the quack he went to. Troll says, I used to take rifles to school on the bus, go camping or trips. No one ever gave me problems. Wow. I'm going to let y'all in on a secret. With permission and under very, very controlled circumstances, I took a gun to school with me in my senior year of high school. Now, put everything out on the table first. I went to the vice principal in charge of discipline, right? I told him what was really going on, which was a class. This was a shooting related class. Told him what was really going on, asked him what I should do. And he was very specific. He wanted a particular type of container, a lockable container. He wanted it in his office first thing in the morning. And it was not to leave without being basically checked out. All right. And I didn't even try to play games. And there was no problem because I was honest about it. Um, and if he had wanted to check out any of my story, could have done it that fast. Could have called my folks and said, does this thing really exist? Could have called the instructor and gotten a reply inside of an hour. Maybe not directly from the instructor, maybe from one of the other staff at the facility, but he would have had an answer inside of an hour. Now, Troll's a little bit older than me, I guess. He carried a rifle on a bus. I don't remember ever being allowed to do that. I'm just saying. Wow, Troll says, I'm 41, so not too long ago. I'm 44. So I'm older than you. Okay. Yeah. In fact, I remember in middle school, somebody brought a gun mag to school. He'd been doing this for years. It wasn't a big deal before this. He got in trouble for that. Ah, Troll. No, man, it was Friday. I was going camping in Appalachia. I took them by the office and kept my pistol on me. Okay. Troll, I don't know. No one said anything, but thank me for letting them know. Okay. Oh, yeah. My vice principal. God, I can still see his face. I can still hear his voice. Remember, his first name was John, and I cannot remember his last name now. But he actually appreciated that I was telling him the truth. Because here's the reality: no matter how much they may hate what you're doing, no matter how much they may hate why you're doing it, everybody will appreciate it more if you just tell them the truth. All right? I can plan for this. I can work around it. You told me the truth. Good. DM Foss, I don't remember anyone bringing a gun in high school. I do. I also remember that particular gun was not declared beforehand. Troll says, I'm in very rural Georgia. That's true. Um, I'm gonna throw a small flag on the play. When I was in oh, primary school, which for us growing up was first through fourth, I do remember that high schoolers could take guns to school with permission and they had to leave it in their vehicle. But I also don't remember too much about carrying because I'm in third grade. What do I care? Troll says, we had a parking lot full of trucks with guns. Yeah, when I was in third grade, yeah. Um, and that's as much as I really remember about that. Just that it would happen from time to time. Um, where I grew up, even the high school actually did need guns on campus. The principal and one of the vice principals, at least, had a gun, and one of them at least was a shotgun. I remember kind of a little bit because somebody made an issue about there being a shotgun in the principal's office. Well, yeah, there was also within about a mile of the school there was two houses. That's it. There was about 200 acres of pasture land. In fact, that's what this had been. It's part of that 200 acres. It's a 20 acre or so chunk was cut out and given to the school district to build a high school. And that's a common enough thing. Um, so yeah, there was a reason to have that shotgun there. All right, there had actually been a wolf sighting, coyote, something like that, sighting while I was at the school because that was the only time they initiated a lockdown that I know of. There was an animal, and the principal was trying to deal with it. Now, this is the 90s, not the 80s. Probably what they did was call the sheriff's office in. The sheriff's office came and dealt with it at this point. But yeah, that's the way it was back then. And by the time I'm in high school, no, you can't bring guns to school anymore. Well, I got away with it because I was honest. I was really honest and told them, this is what I'm doing. This is what's going on. What do you want me to do? Rather than just show up one day with a gun on my hip and, what? I'm going to class. Small flag on the play. When I was in junior high school and early high school, was that big rash of uh, school related kidnappings. Like 90% of them turned out to be non custodial parent taking their kid from school. As far as I know, none of them involved a gun until very, very recently. But this created a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of concern in school staff and our elected leaders. So that's when they started saying, maybe we need to start rethinking school safety. Unfortunately, they went the exact wrong direction. I know that now. All right. In 2020 versus what I understood back in 1991 as a 13, 14-year old. But hey, I guess we could say hindsight's 2020, except this year proved it different. Alpine, hi. Hello, sorry I'm late. Listening now. Yeah, that's fine. Hell, I'm late to my own shit. You know that. Catching up. Great Sky Troll says my middle was broken into by a bear. Okay, his middle school was broken into by a bear. 80s ripped off some door and stole a trash can. The bear stole a trash can? He was probably looking for food. Um, you're lucky that bear did not make it into the galley because that ice cream, yeah, they would have had to close the school for a week just to repair the damage. It would have taken at least a day to clean up all the damage. So you're very lucky all he did was steal a trash can. Um, but yeah, that's the 80s versus today. But let's talk about the 80s for a second. There was this rash of school kidnappings. And rather than stop and say, hey, we need to do something so that people understand this is a bad idea, they said, let's do something to make us feel better. Let's lie to ourselves. There it is. Let's lie to ourselves. Let's say that we're going to make something not allowed, all right, and hope that everybody obeys it. Well, you know, that's one of my problems with libertarians, right? Libertarians want us to think that we'll all obey that NAP. And I know there's people that not only will not obey that NAP, but are willing to die if it comes to that to do what they want to do. Um, Troll, I hate you right now. He says, sorry, basting a pork loin on my rotisserie. Hate you right now. Anyway, it's the same thing. The left is saying, hey, we'll ban all the guns in the schools and everybody will just not do it. 91, 94 me believed this crap. 94 me didn't fully believe it. 94 me understood that, yes, somebody's going to ignore that rule. They're going to do what they're going to do anyway, but we can at least be ready for it. Now, 2020 me understands. No, 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 no. That's not the way it works, Tim. Not the first time I've made this confession. The blood of Columbine is on these hands as much as anybody else that said yes to 91. All right. The difference is Parkland is not on me. I said 91 didn't work. We need to stop doing this. Okay, catching up. Troll, Alpine, and Foss are saying hello again. Troll, 1980s Stranger Danger, 90s active shooter alerts. Boss talking about the 80s satanic panic. You want me to go there? I can't. Uh, just by Foss saying that, I know he knows what I'm about to say. Most of y'all don't know this. If you go to Facebook and you find the Grobe Luge Act, and you got to look a little bit carefully because I accidentally put the two dots over the U in luge. That's also me. And there's quite a few people that if the law that had at one time covered that subject had not been repealed, there wouldn't be a Gross Luge Act. Also, there's a few so-called reporters who would probably be in prison right now if the Gross Act ever does get passed. And the Satanic Panic, as far as I can recall, was the first one. Actually, it was the second. First one was D&D Satanism Panic. I get it, troll. You're having a great lunch. Don't remind me. Troll says Satanic Panic got me all the D&D books my friends' parents wanted to burn. Troll's a D&D player? I did not know that. Um, on a related note, I was a pen and paper gamer back in the day myself. Now, I was robots and aliens, but the same thinking that led to D&D being demonized like it was leads to um, uh, Robotech being demonized because fantasy worlds or some shit like that. Um, Leads to Fallout, which I'm actually have written mods for Fallout and Fallout 2, um, being banned because it's violent, about as violent as Candyland, if you want to work it that way, but whatever. On the other hand, one of the mods I made for Fallout was literally Scorched Earth or Massacred Earth or something like that, where every single city, oh, I did this for both games, every single city is denuded of all human life. Just saying. Um, I was pretty pissed off that week too. Just, I'm gonna own it. DM Foss says Tom Hanks did a TV movie on how D&D makes you crazy. Actually, I had that video. I downloaded it from YouTube, I think, but I had it on a hard drive that has since disappeared. Uh, Great Skull Troll says, "Lol, Mazes and Monsters." That's right. That's the name. Alpine Gulch says, "What's D&D? It's a pen and paper role playing game. Although I think the company's gone out of business." Uh, okay. So everybody's answering Alpine now. And yes, Skyrim on paper. That's a reasonably fair uh, assessment. Um, so yeah, the '80s Satanic Panic, the D&D Satan Panic. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm a little bit confused. There's actually two Satanic Panics. One of us D&D, and the other was the um, preschool Satanic Panic. It's like a pattern, you know. The moment you put the S word in front of anything, all of a sudden, you know, especially when it doesn't belong there. All right, D&D is Satanism. You know, lie to somebody else. All right. Um, Preschools with satanic worship cults. You go tell that to somebody else. To be fair, I believed it at first, but remember that's the '80s when I'm maybe 10 years old at this point, as opposed to today when I have a 10-year-old. All right. So go tell that lie to somebody else. And little flag on that play, even as a 10-year-old, when I heard it for about 2 weeks in a row, satanic preschools for about 2 weeks in a row, I started saying to myself, what? That doesn't make sense. Now, my 10-year-old is almost as smart as I am now. Okay. That little shit's a genius. Um, you try running that lie past him, and you might just make him mad. Uh, the info says the preschool thing happened in Washington State. It may have started in Washington State, but it was pretty extensive. No, it started in Fresno. I remember I did a little bit of research, and the one about the tunnels and the whatever, all the really really crazy shit, that was all in Fresno. There may have been more in Washington State than any other state. I'm sorry, I didn't look into it that far, but it actually started in Fresno. Oh, excuse me. Troll says, interesting aside, I built a functional communist utopia in Fallout 4. First of all, do not say Fallout 4 in the same sentence with me. That's fake out. You, Todd. Second of all, now that I'm going to calm down a little bit, um, communist utopia, but everyone is armed, so not a real communist thing. Yeah, you can't be armed and be a communist at the same time, unless you're the military. Troll also says mid 90s had a mini satanic panic all because of Wolfenstein and Doom. I remember Doom especially did have a huge outbreak of controversy. I don't remember satanic panic as part of it. I do remember violence, training training kids to be violent. No, fuck you. All right. Doom no more makes you violent than spoons make you fat. All right. Now, if you are already overweight, you might have more spoons in your existence on a day by day basis. And if you're already violent, you might be more inclined to play Doom. Doom does not make you violent. Mental illness or whatever it was that made you violent are just fucking bad, right? For those of us that remember Columbine, the leader of the pair, I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head. He was just a bad person altogether. He wasn't even mentally ill, although supposedly he was on an antipsychotic, I think. No, he was really just a bad person altogether. He was, just hated all human life. Misanthrope. That's the word I'm trying to think. He was a misanthrope in general. All right. He's the sort of person who probably would have done very well in prison. He might have done very, very well in World War II era Marines when your whole job is just go kill people. And then the war would have ended, and he would have ended up doing very, very well in prison again. He's just a bad person altogether. Dan Foss, the Washington State one, I think happened in Winnetachi. Okay. 3 or 4 people went to jail based on kids' coerced testimony. Um, uh, Here's the truth. All of those cases at some point involved coerced or completely fabricated testimony. All right. And there's actual video of one happening. I'm sorry, I don't know the whole story. I just remember the video. The oh, the social worker, I think she is interviewing a child, and the child's like, nope, 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 nothing happened. Camera goes off. Camera comes back on. The kid's all upset and crying, and now she's asking him the question she wants answered, and he's saying yes. Now, and I would have been right about 10, 12 years old in that range, well, maybe 15, seeing this video and thinking, that's not right. There's something wrong about this picture. So yeah, coerced. That's not even the start of it. You could torture somebody and get a more honest answer than those kids were given. And I say given as in they were told what to say. Alpine Gulch. Doom 1 was a great game. Okay. Didn't know it was controversial. Yeah. Yeah, it was extremely controversial the day after Columbine. No, that's not fair. There was controversy about it before that, but it was just like this dull roar background noise that you don't even really hear until something happens and everybody has to take notice. Um, and they drop those buzzwords. That's the word Papa Carey loves so much. They drop the buzzwords like satanic and pedophile and um well actually those are the two big ones in front of things like D&D and preschool sex scandals and all of this. And then they build the whole rest of the story around having dropped this word in front of it. And then 10 years later, you find out that never happened at all. The Fresno story is completely fake. There's not a word of it is true. And yet there's still people that believe it. Little bit closer to home example, for those of you that remember, I think it was the 92 Olympics bombing, right? One person makes this really outrageous claim about the guy who found the bomb, planted the bomb, right? There are still people that believe Richard Jewell planted that bomb, even though it's been proven not just categorically, but scientifically. No, he didn't. He couldn't have. No fingerprints, no DNA. None of his DNA is on that. The package, the device, the backpack, the device. It's not, they never even found his DNA on the bleachers they were found under, which I'm not sure how he did that and found the device, but they never found it. They never found his DNA there. All right. And yet there's still people that believe it. I think they did find his fingerprints somewhere near Richard Jewell's fingerprints somewhere near the bleachers, and that's it. That's the closest he ever came to the device. There's still people that believe Richard Jewell was a bomber. Mama Carey was one until somewhere in the early 2000s when she was finally shown, no, it wasn't him. It was never him. Drop that satanic panic in front of, or satanic, in front of preschools, and people still believe this crap, even though all of it's been proven never to have happened. And most of the some so-called victims, maybe not all of them, but most of them have since said, we never knew what you were talking about. We never even understood, even as early adults, some of them said, I never really understood what they were talking about, but they told me what to say. Mazes and monsters. All of that comes from one case. Literally one case. A kid in Tennessee. Um he's a savant. He's going to university. I think he went to university at like 14. maybe he was even 12 at the time. He was emotionally and mentally not ready to be surrounded by adults 24/7 like he was. His intelligence was off the charts, but he was not ready, right? He disappears. Police can't find him. His family hires a private investigator. The private investigator had an agenda of his own. All right. That's where this whole thing started. One guy with an agenda pushing that agenda. And he pushed it so hard that people still believe that crap. Troll says, my mom was a hippie and barely a Christian. Judge not, lest ye be judged yourself. And by the measure that ye judge, so shall ye be judged. More a Wiccan, except that she called Wiccans die. Ooh, I can't say that word on YouTube. And hated the idea of New Age anything, so I'm exceptionally liberal for a cold hearted conservative. I'm going to stand by my statement, lest ye be judged yourself. Um, I can't say that word on YouTube. And a hippie that doesn't hates the idea of New Age anything? That's the new one on me. And you know what? I, Troll, I think I'm actually more, what is it? Exceptionally conservative for a bleeding heart liberal, I think is more describes me. And it's kind of funny we come to, I think, more or less the exact same spot in the end. Remember, folks, see that word right there? Mandatory carry, misspelled, no spaces, nothing. All right, misspelled by your standards. Yeah, I know. Um, that guy used to be a gun control supporter, and that's the truth. You can get from it, you cannot get from extreme one way to extreme the other, but you can get even from extreme to moderate if you stop and ask yourself, is this true? Is this true? Is that true? Now, I had to be physically grabbed and dragged towards the center. But once I got there, I realized, wait a second, everything I used to believe, I understand, was never true. Um, and now we have people who supposedly have our best interests at heart and supposedly know all the facts and supposedly have the best of the brightest to advise them, trying to tell you that something that I learned 15 years ago is not and would never ever possibly be true is still true. Fuck you, Joe. I mean, gun control can never work. Catching up. Alpine says hippies and new age crap gave people an excuse to check of reality and do nothing. I think check off reality and do nothing. And that's kind of true. Um, for what it's worth, I also remember when hippie and Nixon were actual insults. Great Troll Sky Drama says, can't type it either. Flood control devices is my mother's maiden name. Your mother's maiden name is Dam? Is it with one M or two? Or is it two A's? Law, what's this damn codes? DMFA says, I think Alpine meant check out of. First of all, Alpine, yeah, that's what the word means. Um, no, you can't trick me into saying it on YouTube. I've gotten into more trouble for using my own safe word on Facebook than I've gotten for everything else combined. And it is a word that starts with F and means the opposite of flood control device. Exactly the opposite of the flood control device. Of course, in Britain, it actually means something else. I know I've heard it. The short version means cigarette. The long version can mean log, and it can mean sausage. Troll says DAAM is my grandmother's maiden name. Oh, I'm sorry. Alpine. I want to apologize. Stupid assumption time here, and I apologize. I did not realize you were a lady, and so a special treat Alpine nice people. I'm the sort of guy that sleeps with brass knuckles on. You know what that means. All right. DMFA says bundle of sticks also. Fascine is a better word for that. Um, and fascine actually has a specific root in Latin. Um, the root word for fascine is a single stick. Fascine is a bundle of sticks. And the word for fascist comes from fascine, which is also the word that means the Roman emblem, the bundle of sticks and the axe. The word for that comes from fascine. But fascine is also a trench breaching device from World War One and Two. Might have been used a little bit past that, but not very much. You just drop this bundle of sticks into the trench, you run the tank over it, and you destroy the sticks. Who cares? You got the tank over the trench. Alpine, sorry, not trying to get you to say something bad. I know. This is not your first time here. Great Sky Troll says starts with F and isn't a four-letter word. And believe it or not, it's one of my safe words. And Boss says it's all Greek to me. Okay. We're talking about Latin, but it's all Greek to you. Get it? Um, for those of you, speaking of Greek and Roman, for those of you who are familiar with Hispanic culture, you know typically they go with two last names. It's your mother and your father. No, it's not. It's your father and then your mother. That is the Roman style. Long history story, very, very short. Greeks started that tradition. They put mother, father, so that you could tell everybody in just a couple of words what your ancestry was, I think going back 5 generations. The Romans saw it and adopted it themselves, but they reversed the order. And the Spaniards adopted that tradition, the mother-father tradition from the Romans. When they colonized the New World, they imposed this tradition on the what would soon be called the Hispanics. It's the Mayans and forgot the other great empire that they A history major gets history. The Mayans and the Aztecs, they imposed this tradition on them, and that's how that became part of Hispanic tradition. Troll says, "Lol, it has problematic spelling." I'm not sure if you're referring to dams or bundles of sticks, or the way I write my name. All of the above are true. Sorry, Troll, I missed that a few minutes ago. Troll asked, "You have a cold hand at night?" Not sure what that means. I'm going to say no because I'm not sure what you mean. But okay, moving on. We're at roughly the halfway mark, unless I get wild hair up my ass and want to keep going. Been known to happen. All right. So enough of the silly history lessons that only your favorite Spurg knows about. A little bit about that. I started being called Spurg actually on Facebook first because my partner Fix, um, she knows all of my safe words. You know what I mean? Uh, she was calling me my primary one, which means, stop everything right now. And she got a 30-day fascist book prison sentence for it. I had warned her twice before, you can't say that word on Facebook, babe. You can't say that word on Facebook, babe. She did it anyway, and she did it, I think it was 3 or 4 times, and she finally got busted. So we sat down and agreed that we'd go with Spurg because it's insulting and I give no fucks. Um, and because she can't call me my safe word, I can't call her nickname, which has almost all the same letters as the word whole, as in complete. Okay. Um, so I don't call her that, at least on Facebook and YouTube anymore, and neither one of us has a Twitter account. I got her Twatter banned for life. The same way that Coda Boy, I think it was, got one of Mindy Robinson's alts Twatter banned for life. Twatter has this really cool thing where if you try to log in from the same ISP as somebody else who has a Twatter ban, a Twatter death row, they get death rowed with you. Even if it really is provably two separate people, you're banned for life as well. I went down for something worth going down for. I ruined an Iranian agent's attempt to become part of the US government a second time. And I only regret that I have but one life to give for my country. And you, Chelsea, you know exactly where you should be. Okay, Troll, you have cold hand at night. Troll says, Confucius say, man who sleeps with brass knuckles wake up with cold hands. Not really. Not any colder than they are when I don't wear them, which happens from time to time. Alpine, cold brass knuckles that you had when you went to hit the rack, yeah. Alpine, why do you need safe words? Only heard that in S&M. I think you answered your own question there. DM Foss, I've never Twittered. Don't start now. All right. I did it because it was a business decision. I was trying to expand the business. Here's the truth. Twitter is cancer. The only thing that's worse than Twitter is Reddit, and kind of barely, to be honest with you. And that's the truth. If you if you could only pick one thing to never do, okay, Reddit. But if you could avoid Twitter like a deadly plague, I I cannot overemphasize how much. Don't do it. Great Sky Troll says, I have trigger words like meet elsewhere or call me or don't come home. My wife and daughters all have backup plans and trigger words for emergency use. Oh, I know what kind of trigger words you're talking about. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, maybe there is a series. God damn it, it's Tom Selleck's new series, Blue Bloods. There's an episode where, oh, Jamie, not Jamie, the adult daughter, the ADA, is taken hostage. The older brother, who's one of the two cops, is facing off with the hostage taker, and he says, I'm begging you, please. And they do a reaction shot of her, and she's starting to see something. Please don't hurt my family. She drops like a bag of potatoes. Boom, 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 boom. And the older son lights the hostage taker up so bright. I think he might have reloaded and emptied that clip too. All right. Because the entire family understands don't hurt my family means dad's about to shoot somebody. Dad's about to shoot somebody. He learned it from grandpa, Tom Selleck's character, who learned it from his own father, former commissioner of New York police as well. And these sorts of codes are handed down in families. Alpine Gulch, yeah, yeah. Didn't know, did you? Troll says, my family is all that matters. I'll throw a match in this life and meet them in our rally points. See, I can read a code in that, and it's either a really good, beautiful code or it's a really ugly code. I'm going to assume it's a beautiful code, and I don't want to know any more about it than that. Little kept secret. Um, I have a rally point of my own. I remember my first time there. I'm looking around and I tell Papa Carrie, I think Mama Carrie would have loved this. I think Mom would have liked this. Not loved it, liked it. Very different. Um, and it really is a shit lot in the backwoods of Washington State. That's the beauty of it. It's the last place on earth you would ever think to find me. It's in Washington State. Well, big surprise here. There's a whole lot of red and not a whole lot of blue in Washington State. I don't want to get into it today, but yeah, I spend enough time up in Washington State to know that blue is not as blue as you think it is. It's the wrong part of Washington State to really know the blue, but it's enough. Now I just got in trouble with somebody, but okay. I, I go up there for like 2 days to check on Dad's place. That right now is my current rally point. I have one I want to do down in the or southeast United States. So I just covered everything from the tip of Florida to Oklahoma ish, and all the way north to a really southern part of the state of New York. So not very useful information, but that's where my rally point eventually will be. I've actually got the well in, but it's the agricultural well. Uh, about $5,000 worth of equipment later, I can turn that agricultural water into um, human use water. I don't have $5,000. um, I'm gonna go there a little bit since we're talking about fallback points and all of that. Oh, excuse me. Assuming you have everything else. No, I'm not going to assume anything. If I were anybody right of Saul Alinsky, yes, I know what I just said, you'd still be right of George Zim, but if you're equal to or right of Saul Alinsky, stock up on a month's worth of camping type food. If you can take it camping, it's good enough. Firearms, body armor, tents, at least one, two, excuse me, 3-man tent for every 2 people you would have. Um, Water tanks, at least, well, I'll come back to that. Water bottles in general, body armor, camping tools, that sort of thing. Get a camper, toss all of this crap in the camper, and be ready. Density is equal to or greater than 1,000 people per square mile. Be ready to leave in about 12 hours' time. And try to have that fallback point. If push absolutely came to shove, I could go to mine. Somebody finds Papa carries and burns it to the ground. Good luck with that. He's surrounded by rednecks, and not all of them are necessarily. Um, a lot of them don't give a flying about the Hughes Amendment. There. Um, but let's just say somebody burned his place to the ground. I've still got mine. I could get in an RV, drive down there, and be pretty good off for a few months. Uh, Troll says Pops was an airborne ranger. Yeah, all rangers are airborne. You go through the one and then come the other. He was particular about keeping everyone safe. That's good leadership. So we keep plans and backup plans. Good leadership. Yeah, it's a legacy thing. Pops, my brother, and I simply keep the plans current. Yeah. Uh, Troll, I know you're 41, so you're a little bit younger than me. Your old man would have been Vietnam and maybe Korea era, so he might be familiar with the M2 carbine. I'm going to say M2 carbine is actually probably the best single infantry rifle ever created. But by the time your old man would have retired, the M16 has replaced it. It is what it is. End of discussion. It's a great rifle too. You're probably running with an AR-15. damn amount of tea. Um, that's the probably the greatest single thing you had to keep current, and the change in food technology. When your old man was in, it's still possibly even World War II C and K rations. I know because uh, at least one squad of Marines during Desert Storm. This is the PS1 I was talking about a little while ago, who said, you know, when the military says there's no asbestos, they're lying. Before he was PS1, he was a Marine during Desert Storm when he got C rations from World War II. Somebody, somebody went to mass for that, and it wasn't me. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to scroll up a little bit to catch up. So yeah, current weapons and armor and current food technology, probably your two biggest catch up or updates. Troll says I can send a message and microwave my phone. I think you mean you can't do those both at the same time because you only got two hands. And he's down and he's back. Troll corrected me. Your old man was Vietnam. Your uncle was Korea. Wasn't that far off, though, was I? I have a Russian freedom seeder. Okay, Boomer. We can our own stuff. Good. Can as in canning. I know. And Gulch says, "Oh, I think she's talking to Troll, maybe." Um, my biggest food concerns actually goes backwards in time. Ah, hardtack, salt pork, pemmican, and journey cakes. And I've had journey cakes made out of corn. If you've ever heard of a Johnny cake, that's what it is. And actually, of the batch, Johnny cakes are my favorite. But I have pemmican from 5 years ago that was still good enough to eat. Kind of stale, but it was good enough to eat. And it was just kept in wax paper in a freezer. I'm not even sure if the freezer was all that necessary, but we did. And we let it thaw out overnight in the briefer. We tried it, and I was like, yeah, okay. Um, fuck you if you don't like it. Um, I got that recipe from Townsend and Son. I copied their recipe as perfectly as my culinary skills allow. So I'm sure if John came and tried it himself, he'd get the rolling pin and beat me over the head with it. But it was pemmican. Troll says, consider this. I'm allergic to legumes, which includes peanuts. So no beans or sunflower or peanuts, peanut oil or additives. I have to preserve my own food. Now, good for you. You have a skill that I do not. Also, first of all, you can go through that list and make sure none of them end up as a problem for you. And you can save a lot of money. I have to buy canned foods. You know, it's as simple as that. Uh, Foss and Alpine both are are acknowledging, yeah, it's you got a problem, right? Troll has a problem. And what does he do instead of cry himself to sleep? He fixed his problem. Good. Don't sit on the side of the road with a flat tire because you don't know how to change them. Learn how to change a tire. That's what he did. Um, the next skill on my list is actually learning how to brew. And I'm just going for beer right now, um, because my well, the well at my place, $5,000 or $500 for some basic equipment, and it's just sand and charcoal filtering to get the dirt and that kind of crap out. And then I think it's a 1:4 or 1:3 ratio of pure beer, this purified water, and it's safe to drink. And I'll spend the rest of my life in a mild state of inebriation. Um, you can also do that with any hard liquor. I think with hard liquor it's 1.5, beer it's 1.3, and I'm sure you can do it with wine too. I don't know what it is. Um, and any idiot can make honey mead if you spend like 15 minutes to learn how to do it. I need to spend 15 minutes. For what it's worth, mead is thought to be the oldest alcoholic beverage, although there's some debate about that because of a discovery discovery in uh, Gugoli Tempe. I can't pronounce it, but it's thought to be the first permanent human settlement. DM Foss, beer has saved civilizations in the past. Yeah. Um, One of the channels that I follow is Exiled Princess. I found her because of fixed bayonets. So thank you, Boomer. You were right. I was wrong. Um, but she's Muslim. She cannot drink alcohol. She would have to spend the extra $4,500 because she can't drink alcohol. Now, little flag on that play, and it depends on how strict you are. Mead is not of the vine or of grain. Is that okay? I leave that for Muslim community to settle amongst themselves, preferably without brass knuckles. And it's true. In fact, I'm going to throw a little flag on the play. Muhammad banned the alcohol, not because alcohol itself was bad, but because people were abusing it. And I mean wildly. He could look to the Hebrews and the Israelites. He could look to the Christians, even the ones that he had not any direct contact with. He could look at them and say, what is making them act like this? It's the alcohol. Okay, that's it. Ban alcohol. I'm saying it now. I'm going to ban alcohol. And you know what? He wasn't wrong because people were abusing it. Catching up with the chat, Troll says UZO. I do not know what that means. Gulch, beer saved me. Seriously though, I was underweight from stress of 3 jobs, and it helped me gain weight, eat, and sleep. Carefully do that, and yeah, Alpine's right. You can do that. That's how I got my gut. I was chronically underweight until I turned 38 or so, and I've been putting it on slowly. I'm still not legally considered overweight, but I am over my ideal weight by like a couple pounds. Um, Okay, Troll says I was born poor, not stupid. Good for raw calories. DM says Uzo is a Greek alcohol. I'm going to look into that. Alpine apparently has tried it as well and says it's good booze. And Troll says like a loaf of bread. Uzo is like a loaf of bread. It tastes like a loaf of bread. I don't know. I don't know what you mean there. Um, all things in moderation, and you are okay. Some people do not understand moderation. Even the Romans, who were, I'm going to put this the way it really is, they were kind of spurgish about moderation. Even they sometimes didn't quite understand moderation. Beer is like eating bread. Yeah, well, okay. I like it. Although I like certain beers more than others. Just saying. But yeah, I was one part boozed or beer to one part filtered water, and it's safe to drink. It's not the best thing on earth to drink, which is why I understand. I also got to be careful with that. Or spend $5,000, get the proper filtration equipment. I'd really rather spend the $5,000 and then have a couple of beers at the end of the day. Oh, beer is like eating bread for the calories. Okay, okay. I do know that beer is high in calories and quote empty calories, which I'm not sure what that means anymore. You have some stricture that says, or medical problem that says you can't drink? Don't. I'm a problem drinker myself, so I only drink when I know that my drinking isn't going to cause problems. Cannot possibly cause problems. Um, but yeah, my next major goal is to learn how to brew beer. I actually do know of a recipe that I have not tried yet for spruce beer. Supposedly, it would be very easy on the march because that's part of how it came into being. Is soldiers in the field needed the beer so that they could clean the water. Um, I'm not exactly sure how much that is. I'm not sure exactly how much John meant it to be interpreted that way, but it's easy. You can do it in the field. That's a huge advantage. Troll says, I'm sorry. Boss says, I don't drink anymore. I'm not against it. I just sort of stopped. Okay. Um, Troll says, I turn over decision making if I decide to drink. That is a good plan. You can't turn over all decisions, unfortunately, but especially the big and important ones that you can think through before you act, hand those over. And he says, we grew up making moonshine. I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret. And it's not even a secret. You can get it from ATF's website, I think it is. There is a number, I forgot what it is off the top of my head. You can make up to X amount of beer, Y amount of hard liquor, and I think it's X amount of wine legally at home every year for personal use, plus a lesser amount for every, I think it's adult in your household per year. You're fine. I'm trying to remember this. from something I read back in the late 90s. I think it's 2,000 gallons of beer and wine and 1,500 gallons of hard liquor, plus another 1,000 gallons for each member of your family per year legally. So if my plan were to come to fruition, I could make I can make 100 excuse me, 15,000 gallons of vodka per year with everybody in my household, my intended household. And ATF would just come down and literally all they would do is count the number of gallons I have divided by the number of people involved and say, okay, have a nice day. Walk out the front door. Hell, I'd invite them in if I was doing that. um, I would, if the situation were the way I intend, I would also let them walk through the brewery and see everything's perfectly on the level. Okay. Uh, Alpine Gulch says grew out of getting drunk by 21. Okay. Um, Troll says here we can make what we use, but we can't store but a couple of casks of shine per adult involved. Okay, that might be part of the federal law too. You can make up to X amount, but you can only store a lesser amount over time. I cannot look y'all in the eye and say that that is not true. I can only tell you I know federal law says you can make X amount per year. Boss, the ATF would probably hassle you some before saying have a nice day. You know what? Hassle me. I don't care because everything I'm doing is perfectly legal. It is to the letter, dotted I, cross T periods. All exactly right. Legal. Hassle me all you want. I don't care. Troll says, I met an ATF guy. He took notes on our system and said it was exceptionally efficient for a personal production. Um, yeah, that means he probably intended to come back. Um, Now, whether he did or not will come down to whether he can find the evidence to justify coming back. Because remember, he's under pressure to write citations, to make arrests, to do all that cop stuff, but he's also under pressure to not make a bad arrest, to not write a false or unsupportable citation, all that other stuff. I'll let you in on a little secret about cops. All right. You're driving down the road, cop pulls you over, writes you a ticket. You go into that courtroom and you prove it didn't happen, it could not possibly have happened, whatever it is you proved. That cop just paid your ticket. All right. It's a $200 ticket. The cop is paying at least $150 on that ticket because he wrote the ticket. And at the end of the day, that courthouse is expecting money to come in because they had this piece of paper that said you screwed up and you proved, no, I didn't. When I was in college the first time, you all know the story about the ex-cop who said if it was up to me, everybody would be required to carry. Different class, different instructor, but I was just a traffic control class. The instructor for that class talked about one of his colleagues who wrote something like 20 illegal right turn tickets. Well, no, they were legal right turns. And apparently, this guy actually said, "Well, is there a way I can amend the ticket?" And Jack, fake name, said, "Yeah, you could just amend them in the interests of justice and eat the fines." And that guy had to eat all of those tickets himself. So ATF comes to your house and sees that everything is on the level, and then says it's an exceptionally, what was it? Exceptionally efficient for personal production. Don't be surprised if they come knocking again, but don't be surprised if they don't. He knows what the law actually says, and he knows what he can get away with. Okay, Troll says, we used it in treatment of animals and cleaning stuff. Alcohol is a major solvent. It is a adequate wound cleanser when you have nothing else. Also makes for rocket fuel. Troll, sure, we keep one drum around at a time and 2 casks aging. Um, plus 2 gallons drinking shine for medicinal use. Yeah, you might be within the legal limit too. Just we're talking one drum and 2 casks. It sounds like around 150, 60 gallons total. That might be the legal limit because that sounds like about 10% of that 1,500 limit, which generally how government runs is percentage of. Gulch asks, is that enough? Depends. I would think one needs more. Also depends. Um, Now, Troll is also saying we use it in treatment of animals. That might make a huge difference, especially if it's marked, animal use only. Listen, they're ATF agents, right? Their job is actually to find people breaking the law. That doesn't mean they're stupid. They are no more stupid than the rest of us. They know the difference between animal use only and human use. They also know when humans are trying to use animal use only, but they have to prove it. And unfortunately, that's part of the equation. Uh, Great Sky says, kills fleas and treats ants. Yeah, we're well below the legal limit. Okay, so you do know the law as it applies to you. We have 6 adults. That's well under legal limit then. Hmm. Around 1,000 gallons is legal, properly marked, and properly used. Okay. Alcohol is good for fleas? See, you're not the only ones finding things out here. I did not know that. Um, uh, Now, do not start brewing beer, 1,500 gallons at a time and say, oh, some guy on YouTube told me I could do this. No, it's not what I said. That is not even close to what I said. I said you could do up to that much per year. All right. So be absolutely sure that you're doing it to the way the period is formed legal. If I were any one of you, I would actually call your local ATF office and say, hey, I heard that you can brew your own beer, and I'm kind of curious what the rules really are. And usually, what they will start with is what the federal law is, And then they'll turn around and say, oh, yeah, by the way, you're in Georgia, Nevada, Washington, um, Ohio, okay, California. For those of you that are late to the game, Fix Bayonets lives in Pasadena, basically Napa Valley. Um, she's got a set of rules that are different from Papa Carey, which is different from my cousins, which is different from mine where I am, or where I want to be, versus different from where I actually am in Nevada. I know what I can do in Nevada, I just don't do it. Vix can get away with any amount of wine she wants. She can't do basically anything else because of California law. Um, Lag on the play as well. You can make any amount you want, but you got to pay the tax on it. Now, if you're willing to pay the tax on it, make any amount you want. And it's per gallon, if I remember correctly. Troll says, yep, spray 150 proof on infested bedding proof, no more fleas. Does that work on scabies and other infestations? Because if it does, I will brew at 1,500 gallons at a time and spray down my entire complex. Gulch, right? How do you treat fleas and ants with alcohol? Although she's also saying it makes sense. So Troll says, ooh, we are grandfathered in. How do you see Dukes of Hazzard? Troll, I'm going to come back to that in a second. Foss, do the fleas die from having too much? No, they probably die of alcohol poisoning. Gulch. Okay, Alpine got the joke and I missed it. My bad. All right, Troll asked, oh, we are grandfathered in. Have you seen the Dukes of Hazzard? Yeah, good old boys, never meaning no harm. Uh, just a little bit more than the law would allow. Just saying. The Duke boys were moonshiners. Or were they just the bootleggers? Anyway, they did time in prison. They got out. They got their car back. And nobody ever proved after that what they did. I'm just saying. Try as he might. Boss Hogg could never prove the Duke boys were doing anything illegal. Especially since A, Boss Hogg was the local criminal kingpin, and B, he was modeled on Heward Kingfisher Long. They literally took Kingfisher's life story and basically they whited out Kingfisher and put Boss Hogg. Thank you, Troll and Foss. Jesse was the one making the shine. The boys were the ones smuggling it or moving it or whatever the hell they were doing. And the two of you reminded me, yeah, this was actually about Jesse versus Boss Hogg. So the boys were just the weapon that Boss Hogg was trying to use. Okay, catching up. Troll says, after Prohibition, my family signed a treaty to never sell liquor for profit. That doesn't matter. You hit your legal limit, that's it. You can't even give it away after that point. Um, and Foss and Troll both reminded me, yes, Uncle Jesse was the one making shine. Gulch says, interesting, Troll, yeah. Signed a treaty. How does a private person sign a treaty? Do you mean a parole? Maybe? I don't know. I think we're all a little bit confused. I know I'm completely confused. Um, but yeah, there's the law in a nutshell. Do not take my advice as gospel because I know I boiled it down way too far. I've never even made a gallon of booze in my life. I really should, especially that spruce beer. That sounds very interesting. Troll's saying treaty, so I okay. That's a new one on me. Um, I know there's also a compact, which is a completely different thing, but he's sticking to treaty. So I think he means treaty specifically. Um, Troll's also saying we cannot be charged with production of alcohol provided we do not store much. Yeah, I'm not actually sure what the law as it would apply to me, having never committed a felony, having no ancestors that I know of who've committed felonies, having never signed anything promising to be a good boy for the rest of my life or my children's life. Or I don't know how that law would apply to me of what I could do anyways. And Troll, apparently you have some background with this that wouldn't apply to me. So I'm thinking you're being held at a slightly higher standard than me. Sorry, that sucks. Um, Troll, you know my email address, right? I'm going to toss it in the chat anyway. This is an open email. It's not like he's getting anything secret. However, I am going to break it up a little bit so bots are not able. Of course, you know it's not a net. There we go. Okay, Troll, email me. I'd really like to hear a little bit more. I got a specific question. I'm not going to ask this on an open line. Not going to happen. Oh, Michael says safe word at Gmail. No, that was taken. So was my safe word. That sucks. Um, I'll let you all in on a little secret. Back in 2014, when I was first starting Mike Charlie, it's not even Mike Charlie formally. It was still Sarge at the time. Um, a friend, former friend of mine, forwarded me some information about a particular anti-gun group involving a bunch of Karens. Figure it out from there. Anyway, the head Karen, who is just electric, I don't know exactly what happened this particular day, but her desk sent out an email saying these mandatory carry forgets. At the time, I was the only one. So she had to be talking about me. Flag on Little flag on the play is first of all, she probably thought she was talking about the NRA, not realizing that, I'm out there. Second of all, I would find out about 2.5 years ago, I think it was, that someone before me had actually used those exact words. Pound sign mandatory carry, hashtag mandatory carry. And you can still find that exact tweet on Twitter It's a Dr. something. I can't remember her name. It's still there from 2012. I are about there. This predated me by about a year and a half to 2 years. Wow, I wasn't the first. DM and Troll are um, trying to make fun of me, and it's just not going to work. It doesn't work that way, guys. All right, you can literally call that to me to my face until you're getting like this on me, and and then it depends on why you're like that. Okay, that's the truth. Ah, ah. Gulch says no. That well, I didn't try safe word, but the safe word was already taken. I also tried it as mandatory carry forget at Gmail, and that was apparently taken. That sucks. Well, we're not picking on you. Why not? Do I have to like tell you how to insult me or something? You all know the only thing you don't touch is anything about my kids, right? Everybody knows. Don't even start it with Carrie's kids. You could get away with anything. So, yeah, try harder, please. The YouTube channel's original avatar was Zoidberg from Futurama, because Zoidberg once said, "It's when you stop insulting me, then I know I'm in trouble." You're fugly in 4 languages. I also know my safe word in 5. In fact, I'll tell you one. Hajoka, Hotel Alpha Juliet Kilo. No, Hotel Oscar Juliet Kilo Alpha. And Hajoka means more than one thing, but amongst other things, it means my safe word. We're not laughing at you. We're laughing around and behind you. Okay, so yeah, move over here. I want in on the joke. All right. And before you say it, the joke is you're an idiot. I'm probably smarter than you. For what it's worth, I'm not talking about Alpine and DM and Troll who are here right now. I'm talking about a couple other people who are going to be in the comments afterwards. Uh, League, I'm twice your intelligence. Great Sky Troll says, well, pointing at you. Well, good. I'd hate you to be pointing at the other guy, especially while you're talking about me. Um, all right. Yeah, those of you that have been in the service, you know, words fuck you. I don't care anymore. Um, okay, we're coming up on an hour and 10 minutes. I'm gonna put this out there. I know I've only got 3 talking and probably 3 watching. 4, that would be me. Shit. Okay, fix that mistake. Oops. I'm gonna put this out there. I have to use the head. Am I gonna wrap this up here, or do you guys want to keep going? I missed BJ Gunner live. Who's JB Gunner? And sorry, um, I can keep going if you guys want to, but I really have to use the head. I was I sent links around to a few people thinking that they were going to be here. Although in troll and DM can tell you I sent it out like maybe an hour beforehand, but it's going to be regular time now. 0900 my time. That's Nevada. We're all in this together. Um, okay, boss, I do not talk and chat at the same time. All right, bad enough to be on the phone. Um, Troll says it's okay. He has fans. JB, I assume. I don't. Um. Okay, Alpine. Union infantry, Civil War era sweatshirts. If you want, I can put the link to get one in the description afterwards. I'll pin that to the top for a while. The info says we're all in this together. Go ahead, I'm eating. And Troll says, hope it comes out okay. Um, well, it's just the four of us right now. And well, let me see. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm one of the excuse me, five. So my mysterious lurker, come on out. I don't care how much I hate you. Even Bravo Tango, come on out. Be honest. Much as anything else, I respect honesty first. Um, yeah, no, no, Voss, I have to pee. Troll, no. This shirt does not, that I know of, come in Confederate colors. I'm sorry. It comes in Revolutionary, Union, Civil War, comes in British Revolutionary. In my office with a horse. Oh, that's right. Okay. You guys talk amongst yourselves for about 5 minutes and I'll be right back. Let's see what happens at that point. And I mean, talk amongst yourselves as in, you know, I don't care, but say something. Okay. Let's see. Where are we? Sorry about that, guys. I should know better. I'm just gonna catch up. Oop, boomered a little bit. Okay, guys. I'm not even gonna pretend to understand. Ah, yes, I am back. Thank you. I'm fine. Kind of curious what it was myself, though. All right, are we gonna keep going, guys? Give me a Y or an N. And okay, who's my lurker? Still not saying. Oh, I know who it is. Never mind. Hi, Fix. How's the rally? Dealer's choice. I don't know. I never got an answer. More channel interactions with me gone. I believe you. I really do. Um, okay. I got a yes and no no's. So there you go. Troll was saying earlier, island? Out of curiosity, how do you make sure that nobody comes in on a boat? Okay, I can wait. Because, I was a bosun's mate in the Coast Guard. I can make that landing in my sleep. The wise have it. Um, I know how Papa Carrot keep is going to be keeping people out. There's only one way in, unless you go up a sheer cliff face and then come down on the next sheer cliff face. Now you can't do anything about airborne insertion. Nobody can. You can't do anything about airborne insertion with anything that Papa Carey can legally obtain. More to the point. But yeah, other than that, there's only one way in and one way out. An island, there's 360 degrees of way in. I'm kind of curious how you plan on doing that. Okay, Troll is swearing up one side the gators are going to keep me out. No. DM Foss is being a smartass with no trespassing signs. Pretty sure that's not the way it works, Tim. And not from the coast. Yeah, Troll. I get it. You're not on the coast. You'd have to know the island's there. Okay. There might be something to that. Um, Hear me out before you say no. You've got to have some sort of ranchers or farmers or something within 100 miles of you. they've got to have some sort of old barbed wire or cattle fencing or something. Kind of take some sections and twist it up, and just drop it in the water a couple hundred yards away from the island. What that does is, as somebody like me who happens to know where your island is, as we're trying to make that approach, we run right through that wire. Oh, man, that'll, if it doesn't tear the boat itself apart, it's going to get into the props. And that's even worse. Well, no, it's not quite worse. It's really, really bad. That wire in the props, I'll be lucky. First of all, I'll be lucky if I didn't de facto just anchor myself on your wire. How legal is it? Eh. Um, Troll has an island unto himself. Yeah, yeah, he's talked about that very briefly. I'll let you all in on a secret. I don't think it's in Georgia. Papa Carey's place is in Washington. Mine, I've talked about the state a little bit. Um, my second backup place is actually still here in Nevada, but not in Washoe County. None of us live in the state where our real fallback point is. That's how I know Troll's Island is not in Georgia. He says he's in Georgia. Either his island is not in Georgia or he's not in Georgia, one or the other. Uh, Swamp for a few hundred acres in every direction, Troll. That's not much of a defense. A Johnny boat could a canoe for sure, but why go to a place where there's nothing but gators? Don't answer this, but if I knew where your island was, I know there's people that the first thing they're going to do is come after someone like you. And that's the truth. So, yeah, drop some wire and tangled up. And it doesn't have to be all the way, to the sky, just enough that if somebody tries to come through in a boat, they're going to get tangled up. I do understand. First of all, Johnny, um, um, whatever airboat probably can get over it anyways. That sucks. A canoe can get over anything. Well, I guess it depends on the type of canoe a little bit, but it's better than nothing. Uh, Island of Misfit Toys, Foss. I don't think he has Misfit Toys there. And Gulch, true, nobody knows. Yeah. Oh, hell, I Troll is talking about Georgia, and I don't think it's in Georgia. That's as much as I do know. Um, Troll says not visible from the air, not on any chart. They are called chart. County map says it's untracked. Okay, that's a real thing. And let them come. Fish gotta eat. Yeah, that's part of Plan B. Well, coming after Troll would be a lot harder than coming after me. A lot harder, but it's something to keep in mind. Right? Everything you can do to make it a little bit more difficult, It's one more thing you did to make it a lot more difficult. At some point, you get to the point where even I can't do it. And that is literally my profession. And my side business is breaking into people's houses and businesses and stores, showing them how I did it, telling them how to fix it. Right? And there comes a point where even I can't do it. And that's the truth. Of course, I get my clients to that point, but that's besides the point. No airboats getting, Troll says, no airboats getting in there without feet. Seeing as how getting over very, very shallow water is the point of an airboat, I'm very interested, and I'm not going to ask. Troll says, the toys fit right in. 3 generators planned for this. Locksmith sounds, Alpine Gulch says locksmith sounds better. Actually, yeah. Um, actually, no, I don't pick the locks. I barely know how to do it myself. I let them unlock the door to simulate a, a lock being picked. I also know a little bit about the quality of locks, and when I see certain names, I tell them get rid of that. And I just I'll tell you all the truth. The one I see the most is Quickset. Quickset is cheap. Now I've over the last year also learned that there are things you can do with Quicksets that you can't do with most other brands. um, but no, I don't do any kind of locksmithing. I do the actual security analysis. Like with Troll, I'm telling you, get old fencing, kind of bend it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be very good, it just has to be bent up enough. You can drop it in the water, kind of like those old anti submarine nets, which is what the idea was based on. Because you can't put you can't put landmines on the wires legally. Coach says swamps seem like an excellent defense, and they are. I'm not even gonna lie. Especially when you've got snags and deadheads sticking out at random angles that even you don't really know what's out there. See, that's how you defeat the airboats and the canoes and the kayaks. Little but true story. Some Coasties and some Navy SEALs got into a pissing match. You know, whose dick is bigger shit. The SEALs said something that pissed the Coasties off. Coastie said, you know what? Come on out tomorrow and see. Over the night, they had strung concertina wire to the bottom of one of their boats, left it up on the derrick for the SEALs to see. SEALs come riding up. We're going to get these Coasties today. They see that, say, fuck you, we're out. And they were out that fast. And I understand why. Nobody wants to try to take on concertina wire in dry land. And underwater, that's even worse. And then spurs, snags, deadheads, all of those things. Your boat runs up on that and you punch a hole in it and you sink right then and there. And now the same guy who thought he was going to make an amphibious assault on your island is begging you for help to get to shore and to not kill him afterwards. And yeah. Oh, please don't. Please, no, dude, I'm just calling the sheriff's office. You're in deep shit. Oh, so are you? You put wire. I didn't put that wire out in the water. And I've seen people do that. They one I happen to know about. This guy had this huge, overgrown field. He never trimmed it. He never nothingned it because, well, first of all, it wasn't technically his dirt. It was county dirt. Somebody 20 years earlier had built a fence. That fence had collapsed. Somebody else had come along, built another fence. That fence had collapsed. So on. The last one apparently had been 20 years before. There was just this nasty, gnarly tangle of old barbed wire, old fence wire, more barbed wire, more fence wire, so on and so forth, and car parts. Now, I looked at some of these car parts. He told me it was out there. I'm looking at some of them, and I swear to God, there was at least one that must have been off the original Model Ts. It was that old, it was that rusty, and it was that nasty. There were actually little flecks of metal that had broken off that turned it into some kind of nasty, sharp things that you don't want to rub your leg on. And the really weird part about it is these fences had been collapsing in what was legally county property. I was actually there to take a look over the new fence and make any recommendations. It was kind of a charity case. Um, and I'm seeing all that. And actually, the one of the things of my business is civil liability. I'm pointing at all that crap over there, and he's like, "Oh no, that's county property. I can't do anything about it." Oh, okay, okay, got to catch up. Troll says, "This ain't no bayou. It was a cotton farm, then rice farm, grew indigo, but all flooded in the '80s and left us an island where the original homesteaders built." Oh, Frank's Tract. Frank's Tract is in the Sacramento River, people. That's as far away from Georgia as you can get and not technically exit the United States, sort of. Joshua Thomas hates me. Okay. Um, Now it's goes for us a standing dead tree. Ooh, you might want to like get some trees out there. I get it. You got to put stuff in there that'll grow under those conditions. But those dead trees might also deter somebody trying to come in by helicopter. Just saying. Now it's a nasty hike, rough paddle, and I killed the trolling motor. Well, it's a trolling motor, not a proper boat motor for those kinds of purposes. Joshua. Okay, Joshua, I get it. You hate my guts. Now, please stop spamming. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Joshua. That's hot. It's hot. Wherever you are, it's hot. Of course, everybody hates me, but yeah, guys, my bad. That was not angry. Or maybe it was, and I don't care. Okay, Troll says planted a few Chinese chestnuts. Josh, please stop spamming. Nobody likes spammers. Okay, you know what? That one. Stop that. Everybody hates it. Okay. Uh, Hey, Josh, what does your avatar say? I I can't read that. Sorry, it's too small. Um, Joshua Thomas. No, I'm sorry. I knew a Josh Thompson when I was in the guard. All right. Since you seem so talkative, Josh, how about you ask a question? Guys, I gotta let you in on a secret. I have a call that I have to make at 1300, so this is wrapping up about that time. I'm also going to let you all in on another little secret. I'm kind of stretching it out a little bit this time because I asked for some people to show up, and well, I didn't give them enough warning. Oh, Toronto Maple Leafs. Thank you, Foss. Joshua, what kind of music do I like? Actually, let me cut to the chase and tell you what I don't like. Country music after 1991. Um, Reggae is not my favorite, although some of the older reggae is not so bad. Hate ska. Oh my God, I hate ska. I think ska, people who listen to ska do it as an act of self flagellation. Believe it or not, I love orchestra music. I learned of it from Star Wars, of course. Um, I even like some hippie music. Not all of it, though. Not gonna lie. I hate rap and like classic rock. Um, like on the play. You're talking about anything from 2015, 2012 on. I'm totally there with you. Right. Maybe even a little bit. It's right about 2008 is when rap music started taking some. I like, what is this? This is nauseating. Mumble. Troll says I'm not a fan of mumble rap. I don't even. You're right. You totally win that one. Oh God, that's nauseating. And you know what? I don't like any of any or all of any particular band or group or style. Right? I know absolutely. I'm not going to name it, but there's a song by a Disturbed I will not listen to. Right now, that's my favorite band. There's one song that shit out of here. What is my favorite sport? Oh, Joshua Sublime. What is my favorite sport? Whatever my kids are playing. Um, Troll is a Sublime fan. All right. Alpine Gulch tells me ska music actually came from island tourist music. Okay. Um, and Troll says six. I know a few Sublime songs. Yeah, we're a little bit older now. I do not know six. Um, okay, Josh, you have fun with that. Guys, I'm gonna do something that I don't like doing. I'm gonna have to do it the hard way too. Whew. Don't encourage him, Alpine. Okay. I know I don't have any moderators in here. I don't have any wrenches. So I'm not sure how that happened. But okay. I want y'all to know I did not block him and I did not put him in timeout. I was just going to delete that comment and nothing more. Oh, I was getting ready to delete your last comment there, Josh, because you're trying to get me in trouble with YouTube. It's not as easy as it sounds, is it? Um, but as you can see, I didn't block him and I didn't put him in timeout. It's not the way I roll. Oh, sorry. Come on, Josh. Come on. For what it's worth, I don't mind the joke so much as, you know, they're going to say, oh, yeah, Ozark Yeoman just dropped a vid. Gotta go comment, like, and tell y'all to subscribe. Troll that recommendation came from you. You're somebody I know about. So I'll go check it out. If you put the link in the comments, you might be able to put it in the chat, at least the comments afterwards. Joshua, everybody knows I'm not a nice guy. I'm a fucking asshole. I'm probably the worst person I know without a rap sheet. Most horrible person I know who doesn't have a rap sheet. Okay, doesn't have a felony rap sheet. So no, I'm a horrible human being. I'm a shining example of everything you should not aspire to, except honest. Okay, Troll says check him out. He has a level head and nice firearm. I'm not going to shill that hard. Troll, I am asking you personally, saying I want to see the link, please. And if you won't, apparently DM Foss can do it. I'm I will take recommendations from actual people and not bots. I also know me. You guys are gonna say the name like 50 times. We're gonna end the live stream and I'm gonna totally forget to check it out. And that's the truth. Unless, of course, you remind me to check it out. So that's not shilling, Troll. I'm asking you to do it. Totally different. You're not doing it for your sake or his sake. You're doing it for my sake. Troll, I have no idea how to send it. Um, you go to the video, copy and paste the URL, and then you copy the URL and then you paste it into the chat. Come on, bro. I'm boomering. Okay. Thank you, Alpine. I think we can all figure it out from there. I'm on a crappy phone. Troll says he's on a crappy phone. Oh, okay. Understood. That's totally fair. You can do it from a crappy phone, but sometimes it's easier to not try. This piece of shit over here. Do not buy a Motorola like your life depends on it. But Alpine got us the channel ID. I forgot where in the URL it goes, but you just swap out URL or channel ID numbers. Maybe you can. Only mods can post clickable links. Oh, I thought you could still post um, YouTube links. And Alpine Gulch said I posted it anyway because what she did was she got the last part of it. Okay, so copy link for myself and back that up. There we go. I am not boomering here, guys. What the hell? I'm not sure what happened, but it's all my fault. Yeah, well, it happens. I'm not sure what happened there, but apparently it's not showing up in the chat now. There. Ha. Gotta, I'm telling you, YouTube, you gotta stop being boomers, okay? Don't even know your own industry. There. Ha. I don't know if that's clickable, but at least it's recoverable. And if it's not clickable, guys, I'll put it in the description. Well, yeah, I'll put it in the description. Yep. All right. So we're at about 2.5 hours now. DMFOS reminds me that I can cut and copy and paste the link from the chat. And yeah, it didn't actually, it wasn't appearing in the chat as the YouTube video for me. But it was appearing in the chat on StreamYard for me. So I just copy and pasted it from the StreamYard chat. You. The link is good. Okay. Woohoo! Yeah, just Alpine. The problem is it's a new name for me, so I'm gonna forget it exists. That's the way I am. Um, the link is good. Awesome. So hopefully I'll remember to go check it out later. All right. Who here is still kind of struggling with the backup plan for the next 6 months? Can't get an RV or a camper, can't find the dirt to fall to, something like that. is I have some. They're not really good. It's not really good advice, but some things you can try at least. The biggest thing you can try is, first of all, just find dirt that's too cheap to sell. The kind of place that the current owner will pay you to take it off their hands, as long as it's not contaminated with something. There's a lot of toxic waste sites out there. The current owners will pay you to take it off their hands, no problem. There's a reason they'll pay you to take it off their hands, right? You're stuck with that forever. Um, there's some of this kind of dirt in all 50 states, right? This is the shit of the backwater of the shit. You can drill your own well. Usually it's about 20 to 60 feet down. This is shit water. And there's a couple states where even 20 to 60 feet, you're not going to get there. The only one that comes to mind is Arizona. It's not even all of Arizona. It's just certain parts of it. Even the shit water is down more than the 60 feet. Drill your own well. And there's one channel that's dedicated to nothing but that. Get that groundwater up. This is what would be good for irrigation, maybe for livestock. Filter that. And worst case scenario is you run it through the sand uh, uh, coal combination. And what you have is borderline potable water. You're going to have to boil it or dump a gallon of bleach for every 100 gallons of water or something. But at least you can get it so that it's safe for human consumption. Will taste like shit, basically, no matter what you do. Some shit tastes better than others. And now you own like 20 acres. You pay $40 a year in property taxes. Don't ever tell anyone, not even me, about where your well is. Matter of fact, don't really tell anybody about the dirt if you can avoid it. Park a camper there. Don't ever paint a camper camouflage. I saw that the other day. I saw a camouflage RV and it sticks out like a sore thumb. The deer know it's there. They can smell it from a mile away. The coyotes, the wolves, the bears, they all know it's there. They can smell it from 10 miles away. So who are you hiding from? You want to hide something like that, you hide it in plain sight, right? You park it there, jack it up on, you put it up on jacks, put some sort of cover over it, right? Like an abandoned vehicle. Alpine says our well in the Rockies is horrible. Iron and HG. I'm sorry, I don't know what HG is. And iron is really hard to filter out. That is not a lie. Um, have you tried magnets? I'm not being an ass here. I'm being serious. Um, sometimes you gotta filter it much more. I'll let you all in on a little secret. I'm in a preppers group on Facebook, and I see people every day saying, "Does anybody know how to prep with no money or little money?" And I always want to tell them, exactly what I just said. Buy the shit dirt. Buy the no, put the well in yourself. But I get tired of saying it over and over again. Put up 2 sheds, and that's good enough for 99% of what you need. Ooh, thank you, Voss. HG is mercury. You might need to talk to a professional to fix that problem. Troll asks, is the water pumped or free flow? I assume he's talking to Alpine. Oh, Alpine answered already. And the spring comes from an old gold mine full of mercury. Actually, I was kind of afraid that's what you were going to say. Mercury, for those of you not familiar with gold mining, there's probably nobody in the chat right now. So this will be mostly for the people who tune in tomorrow. They would mix the gold ore, they'd mix mercury into it. Mercury would bind with the gold. You extract the mercury and then you burn off the mercury. Well, that creates all these toxic wastes that never really go away, as far as I know. Um, so now Alpine's well, um, at least Alpine's well, is contaminated with the mercury from the gold mining, and oh, I'm sorry, that sucks. Uh, well is pumped, spring is free flow. Okay, you are screwed. Alpine says that well is pumped. Troll says that you're screwed. Alpine, I don't know if the magnet will attract mercury or not. Um, Troll says mercury requires a bit more than a filter. Yeah, quite a bit more. And DM Foss says mercury will make you mad as a hatter. Actually, that's exactly where it comes from. Hatters in the 1800s would play with mercury all damn day, turning the wool, I think it was, into felt, and they became it makes you mentally unstable. That's also what happened to one of the czars, Ivan the Terrible. He was on mercury basically his entire life. He became absolutely insane and paranoid. And the only person who could control it was his wife, Catherine, I think, who then one day up and died and put his paranoia into triple overtime. Alpine says, I am mad as a hatter already. No, Alpine, you don't understand. You wouldn't be able to use the internet. That's how insane it makes you. If you ever watched the animated version of Alice in Wonderland, how crazy that guy was, he couldn't pour tea, he could barely drink the tea, and he couldn't speak a coherent sentence to save his life. That's what it does. You're not nearly as mad as a hatter yet. Okay. Troll says free flow volume is too much to filter. A tiered pool system, then solid sand, and preferably a plant to absorb the mercury from the water. TM Foss asks if Alpine is having tea with a rabbit. Um, I'm not going to argue with Troll about something I know I don't know that much about. But I do know that it's really hard to get water out of the tree or plant. So I'm not sure how well that part's going to work. And Alpine apparently drinks tea with rabbits. Okay. Um, Actually, you know what? Tea with rabbit sounds good. Oh, you mean live rabbit? Oh, sorry, my bad. Should be ashamed of myself. Not, but I should be. Okay, guys, I'm thinking maybe we should go ahead and wrap it up because I don't think Gitmo, especially. Mm, to let you all in a little secret, I kind of set this up around Gitmo. When she discovers her Takayo and it discovers that it's not me, I'm going to be in deep, deep trouble. I'm going to be hating the rest of my life, but oh well. So let's get some last minute questions in. Everybody ask a question, please, and then start wrapping it up. Okay. Troll says, I'm just explaining the method of mercury extraction used for sewage and whitewater treatment. Okay, so Alpine, you might want to look into that. Mercury extraction used for sewage treatment. Something there to consider. You startled me. Everybody, Gitmo is here. Okay, you can call me anything you like. You call Gitmo anything, and I will ban your ass faster than you finish saying the words. Oh, and Gitmo Petticoat is mi Takayo. In Spanish, Takayo does not have a exactly specific meaning, but it's kind of like double or doppelganger or twin. So, tell you all the truth, if anybody was going to get a wrenchy around here, be Petticoat Betty first. Tiered pools. Yes. Yeah, that was a good idea, Troll. Tiered pools. Troll, are you saying hydroponics? Are you suggesting using hydroponics? You put the plant into pure water and let it grow that way? Because that might be where I was confused. um, okay. Foss, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A lot more than I can say it. Petticoat says, I'm the evil twin, I think. Well, according to your survey, no, I'm the evil twin. And Troll is saying no. I assume that means no to the hydroponics. I'm kind of confused. Not even gonna lie to you, bro. Um, Hydroponically growing plants to take mercury out of water, if it's a plant that can take mercury out of water, that'd make a lot of sense. It also might be useful, although how useful is another question entirely. Could you eat grapes that have grown in mercurium water? I don't know. I don't know. Don't need no stinking wrench. Hey, when you get to a certain point, everybody needs a wrench. Okay. And I know who I'd give it to first. F y'all. Um, There you go. Let me tell you how many people in this world I trust. I trust my dad. I trust one of my brothers. I trust two of my kids, but the rest of them, not so much. And y'all see, I trust Betty here. And Betty's also saying, no, you cannot eat the grapes. Yeah, that's what I figured. Cattails lock up mercury in its tissues. All depends on how much mercury and volume of the flow and time setting and yeah, I get it. Um, Gulch, something there to consider. Because you were in a gold mine, you might need a lot more than just a few cattails. Sorry, that is the way it is. Foss says water drains through each pool, removing particulates with each pond. The plant absorbs the mercury. I think that's what troll means. Okay. So they don't grow just in the water, they grow in the dirt. And they still pull the mercury out of the water? Betty, didn't somebody say something about that a long time ago? Mars and Al, not Mars or Al, but one of that crowd. Um, DM Foss, the water drains through each pool. Oh, sorry. Actually, I'm gonna rehide that. Betty says, I agree with that. Gold mine mercury is a lot. Yeah. Troll says, I worked hazmat control systems, flood management, land management, disposal, and recovery. Actually, he mentioned that earlier in the stream. I didn't realize that's what he meant. So, unless somebody can tell me that he's mistaken or he's full of shit or something, I think we're all going to go Google or Bing or DuckDuckGo cattails after this stream is done. And Troll's also confirming that Foss understands the concept. I'd love to hear more. Yeah, Alpine is saying that's great knowledge, Troll, and yeah, I think we all appreciate that. Afasa says he's seen that before for fish ponds. Troll is asking if um, Alpine has a hill. Might not be so critical if you can. If you put uh, reservoirs, tanks, water tanks, and have them step down anyways, you might be in effectively the same spot. Of course, you could build a hill. Alpine, you said something about a gold mine. Is it a gold tunnel? Is it a tunnel mine? You might be able to work with it that way too. Oh, or might not matter because Alpine is confirming that she's got hills all over the place. Well, I'm not sure. He says we used it to clean water from kaolin mines. I've never heard of kaolin, but if it's bad enough that it's still got your memory, recent enough that it got your memory, still in your memory, it must have. It must have your attention pretty well. There's now that my probably only ever Wrenchy is here. There's two others. Still kind of hoping they show up. Uh, One is my Takayo's Takayo. I really want to put the two of you together. I'm afraid. Uh, oh, whoa! I gotta healing. Okay, Great Sky Troll says it's the white stuff in pills. Oh, I thought that was baking soda. And shiny stuff on paper, and the base for ceramic armor. Okay, so it's a type of mine, like gold, aluminum, steel, kaolin. Really? My body armor did environmental damage? That sucks. Oh, on a related note, um, I recently subscribed to a new channel. It's, I think, Sierra Army Depot social channel, something like that. I did because somebody was telling me they have a video about somebody recovering damaged body armor. So might be worth looking into. Troll saying it was an open pit, and like clay or chalk, it's a different chemical. Yeah, it's well, you said it's ceramic. It's the base of ceramic. So, Alpine says it's a hydro a hy- I can't I can't pronounce that word. Hydrous aluminosilicate. Oh, I get it now. Um, Hydrous means it absorbs water, and it's aluminosilicate. It's compound or compound or molecule of aluminum and silicon. So yeah. So yeah, hey, this is great. Trolls giving you advice on how to clean up your gold mine. Kind of a shame. It's too bad it's not a gold mine anymore. I could tell you all a story about a gold mine, but it would not be appropriate for this channel. Okay, we're still at 6 viewing. Byproduct of feldspar and granites. Oh, got it. All right, guys, get some questions in. And no more woodchucks. Actually, no, scratch that unless you've already got it half written. I want to hear suggestions for next week's video or live chat. It's going to be the same time, 0900 um, Pacific Standard Time, which I'm trying to steer away from, trying to stick to Greenwich Mean Time because then you only have to remember one time zone conversion. It's a lot easier that way. And your watch and your cell phone should actually have GMT as an available option. Any questions at all? I gotta feed my fish. My broccoli are amazing, and I've done nothing. Reserve it. Reverse a pump occasionally. Troll says. Okay. Oh, um, who said something about fish ponds? Fish are also very helpful in this department if it's water that's safe enough for the fish to be in. Alpine's water may not be safe for the fish to be in yet. They the reason koi are very popular in Japan, besides the fact that they can be eaten, is they eat the bugs. Oh, sorry about that, guys. All right, anybody else? I really need advice for next. Well, yes and no. Especially my wrenchies. Okay, guys, we're coming up on 3 hours now. So, and nobody seems to have any questions. So, let's go ahead and wrap it up here. Um, I will be sure to put the link for. I told you I'd forget, but I've got the channel ID number in a .txt. Koi. Um, so it won't be that hard to figure out. Troll says I keep koi, bluegill, and bream. I've never heard of bream. Ozark Yeoman, thank you. Troll. Boss says Ozark Yeoman. Oh, Ozay. Oh, well, it's a good thing I copy and pasted channel ID number. Um, okay, guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up here. Um, remember, keep your head on a swivel, body armor, firearm, get and carry a good pocket knife, not a cheap one. Your homework is search in your state for the shittest dirt lots that you can find that are not horrifically contaminated, and keep calm and mandatory carry on and make a plan. Yes, thank you. All right, guys.